Hey everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. We are getting set up and ready to do a demonstration of our RD435 rotary die cutter. What we're going to be cutting on this demonstration is a 4-up birthday invitation that is laminated. So we're going to get started that in just a minute. Before we get going on that though, I do want to make note, while we are live today and you guys are tuned in live watching this, we have turned the question and comment section off on the demonstration. The reason for that is that we have a lot of end users and a lot of dealers tuning in today, and we want to make as most efficient use of our time. We're only running these in 30-minute increments, so we want to get through it. We've designed these demonstrations to answer a lot of the questions that we think you're going to have, but if you come up with anything that we didn't discuss, or if you have a product-specific application to what you want to do in die cutting, we have set up a live hotline right now that we are manning. The number you can call is 888-202-5579. Again, we're manning that phone number live right now. If you have questions through this or after the demonstration, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to get your questions answered, and we'll kind of go from there. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get started with the demonstration. As I just mentioned, what we're going to be running today on this demonstration is a 4-up laminated with 1.5 mil double-sided gloss laminate birthday invitation. You can see right there on the sheet the black registration mark. I always like to call that out. Each sheet that you want to run through the die cutter does need to have that registration mark printed for cut accuracy and consistency on there. And we'll kind of show you that through the process as well, why that's so important. So, with that said, let's go ahead and walk you through and introduce you to the RD435. What I like to do is kind of go through section by section and show you some of the benefits and features of our machine. And after we get through that, we're going to go ahead and set up an actual job, watch the machine run for a little while, and then we'll do some we'll look at the dies and how you add the dies and things like that. We always get a lot of questions on how quick are die changeovers and things like that. So we'll certainly address that here at the end. I do have the marketing team here with me today behind the cameras that are going to be helping us out. Going to get some close-up shots of some of the hard-to-reach areas. So Brian, if you want to come on in here, one of the things we're going to show you is the pile feeder. So we do have an 8-inch pile feed capacity. And Brian's got a close-up view you can see here. There is a feed retarder system, an adjustable feed retarder system there in the middle back that you can see. The slots right there are the adjustable air vents for to fluff the paper. So those are two great features that basically eliminate any double feeds and really make for efficient feeding. So Brian, if you want to come over here, we'll move on down the machine here. Next up, we do have in this section, we have our ultrasonic double sheet detection. That's a 6 sensor coming out of Germany to eliminate double feeds. Once the paper advances past that, it does come onto the registration table with our marble alignment rack. The registration mark sensor that I pointed out on the sheet, you can see right here, there's our registration mark sensor. That actually reads that black mark, it stages the paper, and it times it as to when it's supposed to enter the cylinder to get you very repeatable cuts. It also accounts for any print drift leading to trail edge of the paper. So those registration marks are crucial for the machine. We're going to look at the HMI here for a second, but we're going to come back to that, and we're going to go into that in more detail. But this is the brains behind the machine that the operator will be using. At the back of the machine, you can see here we do have adjustable pressure gauges. These come in handy and are really beneficial in that you are able to use the same die to cut multiple paper thicknesses. So whether you're running 100-pound text or you're running a 160-pound double thick cover, the same die can cover both, the whole range by applying more or less pressure onto the cutting cylinder to get you that nice clean cut. You can see here we have it's an upper magnetic cylinder. The die has a piece of foam on it. It's release lining foam on it. But the upper magnetic cylinder is fully magnetized, and it compresses against a lower solid anvil cylinder. And as the paper goes between the two, the die does the cutting. Right here you can see is our stripper mechanism that diverts scrap down, which we'll see in a second as it's operating. So what you're finished with on the conveyor table is just the finished pieces made for easy collection. So on the conveyor itself, we do have an automatic on-off switch that with an adjustable belt speed, which just comes in handy for continuous operation. So that's basically start to finish the machine. What I would like to do is go ahead and get a job set up and take you through the HMI screen and kind of give you the ins and outs of what an operator would see as they're setting up the machine. We'll go ahead then and set up a job and then watch it run. So Brian, if you want to come back in here, we'll switch camera angles and kind of look here and see. So you can see on the main screen here, it's a really intuitive design. There's not a lot of secondary screens that you're going to have to navigate through. When an operator comes in and is getting ready for a job, this is the main screen that they're going to be working with 95% of the time. So across the top here, you can see we have single sheet feed, pretty self-explanatory. You hit that, it's going to feed your one sheet. To the right, you have feed auto. Your feed auto can be worked in two different ways. If you have your batch mode turned off and you hit feed auto, you're going to go ahead and just run continuous. It's just going to run until it doesn't have any more paper in the pile feeder. If you have your batch mode turned on, however, it is going to revert to batch mode, and when you hit feed auto, it's going to run whatever batch job you have set up. To the right then is just the all stop. If you want to stop operations, just hit the all stop. Moving over here to the right, you have your elevator controls. This just operates your pile feeder and shows you exactly, raise and lower for easy feeding, or for easy loading up the paper actually. So below there you have your jog, your paper jog. That's used for setting up your job. Below that is your cut adjust. Your cut adjust is really important. As you're getting a job set up and you've added a new die to the machine, you're going to want to run a test sheet to give you a benchmark of where you're currently cutting. And your cut adjust is going to be used to move where your cut begins. So if you need to move the cut to the left or to the right, that is all done with your cut adjust feature. In the middle of the screen, you just have your feed roller release. Again, that's for setup. You have your feed speed right in the middle. Currently, we're at 100% speed. And then you have your cylinder home button. That button will need to be hit or pressed right when you turn the machine on. You're going to want to do your cylinder home. What that does is it brings the magnetic cylinder into what we call the home position, and all of the timing is going to be based on where that home position is. The machine will always find that home from that point forward, so it really only needs to be pressed right at the beginning of when you turn the machine on. To the right then, in this section is just your batch mode. This is really heavily utilized by a lot of our customers. Whether you're running business cards and you have multiple people, multiple customers' business cards in the same stack. If you have invitations, multiple people, and you just want to run them as batches, this is a great way to do it. If you're running playing cards and you want to allow your operator time to collect each deck of cards, and they need just a few seconds in between batches to collect that full deck, then this is a great option to use for that for that job. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get a batch set up, and we'll watch it run then. So you can see the batch mode is already on. It's just a simple on-off, so we'll leave it on. Go over here to the number of sheets. Well, let's go 5 sheets. We'll do 3 batches of 5, and then your delay. Your delay is a true numeric value. So if it's 10, which we currently have it on, it's 10 seconds. If you need longer and you type in 60, it's going to give you 60 seconds. Whatever you need, that's what it's going to give you. So we're going to go ahead and just type in 10, leave it at 10, and then we're good to go. We're going to go ahead and close this. So with that said, so just to recap, what we have is we just set up a batch of the birthday cards, 4-up design, laminated with 1.5 mil double-sided gloss. Batch of 5, 3 batches with a 10-second delay. Let's go ahead and kick it over to the other camera angle, and we're going to watch the flow through the machine. All right, so let's go ahead and have Brian come in here. We're going to go ahead and hit feed auto. You're going to see that pile feeder come up into position. Again, we are running batches of 5, 3 batches. You can see the paper feeding through the machine. As you come down to this side, you're going to be able to see the scrap that gets diverted down. And I am collecting that. So that was the end of our first batch. Actually stacks there. So you can put any kind of a trash receptacle down below there to collect that scrap. We have it just going on the floor for right now. There was our second batch of 5. And here comes our third batch. So there we have it. There was 3 batches of 5. Of our laminated 1.5 mil double-sided gloss birthday invitations. 15 sheets, just that quick. They came out really, really well, feed well, easy collection as well. So, a quick demonstration of what we always like to show. This is what you start with, is a printed sheet. There's the scrap that gets diverted down that has the holes punched out of it, or the design punched out of it. And then this is what you end with. So it kind of gives you a before and after, and kind of gives you the whole story of what this machine does. This is rotary die cutting at its finest. It's made for digital print, high speed, but you can do short or long runs. That's the beauty of this machine in digital print. So that kind of sums up the demonstration of the machine, its features. We walked through different sections of the machine, set up a batch, very easy to do, and actually ran that job. One of the questions we get a lot that I definitely want to address, because a lot of you guys are probably out there thinking right now, is about the dies. How do I get a die? What's the die ordering process? Who do I get them from? And how do they attach to the machine? So I do want to address that here. I have a die that we had made. So Martin Yale, just like anybody in rotary die cutting and manufacturing, we do not manufacture the dies. We rely on outside parties to do that. We have partnered with a company called Impact Dies up in South Bend, Indiana, just about a half an hour north of us. And they are a really good partner of ours that makes these dies. The turnaround time on a die is only about 2 to 3 business days. But you can see they're very thin. It is a sheet of metal, and if I get in close, you can see the die cut lines on the die. So it is just a piece of metal that wraps around the cylinder. They ship to you whatever design you want. They will put on the die and etch it in, and then you're ready to go. You print your sheets, you put the die on, and the two should match. Your die design and your print file should match, and when you go ready to run the machine, they're a perfect match for each other. So that's a little bit about the die ordering process. We help a lot of customers get started. We make introductions, especially on the first die or two. We are definitely a resource here for you. to get going. From then on out, you'll work directly with Atlas or whoever you choose. There's 4 or 5 different players in the United States. You can use any of them, but you would work directly with them on all of your future die ordering needs. So with that said, let's go actually over to the back of the machine. Brian, I'm going to have you come around here, and let's look at how to add and remove a die from our machine itself. The first thing you're going to need to do is actually hit your emergency E-stop. And that is going to, sorry, about to cut you off there. That's going to allow this cylinder, this magnetic cylinder to rotate. So this magnetic cylinder you see here is about 400 pounds. So it's a really heavy cylinder, but you can move it with really no effort at all. And if you can see here, I'm not sure how well this is going to show up in the camera, but there is the leading and trail edge of the die right there. You're going to find that line, and you're going to take what's called a die removing tool, and you literally just slip that tool underneath the die to break the magnetism. And from there, it's literally just a pull and peel off of the magnetic cylinder. So just that quickly, you took the die off. So an entire die change out, a lot of people think it's going to take 10, 20 minutes. It's about 2 to 3 minutes. Real simple process. And then to add the die back on, it is the exact same process reversed. There are these 3 holes across the top of the die that we have pins for. You would put the pins into the cylinder for alignment, get it going, and then take the pins out and just rotate that die around the cylinder, and you have perfect alignment. So that is really the die ordering process. That is the installation of the die on the machine. It's very, very quick turnaround time, almost no downtime at all. So with that, that does conclude this demonstration of our RD435 rotary die cutter. Again, we went through a lot of stuff today. If you have any questions at all, we are standing live. We have operators ready to answer your questions. 888-202-5579. Now or in the future, we'll be ready to answer those questions for you. So, hey guys, we really appreciate you tuning in and watching this demonstration. We'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to get set up with another job and with another design. And so if you want to see the machine running again, just hang tight. We'll be back with you in just a few more minutes, and we'll go from there. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll talk to you later.